Sorry guys, didn't turn the sound on. Welcome to race number 4 of the Triathlon New Zealand Race League Series number 2. I'm in the suffer room. This is my little training pain cave downstairs, and we've got a birthday party being prepped upstairs, so hence why I'm down here. So sorry if you hear some kids yelling, but we've got a good race for you today. I'm going to kick straight into, you'll see there's a little logo below me today. We've released all the details and launched our Triathlon New Zealand National Series. Pretty exciting, bit of a different format, and I'll just, if you haven't seen the video announcing this, I'm just going to play this for you now.
Hi Tribe community, I am really excited to launch the upcoming Suzuki National Series. What you're going to see for the upcoming season is a new format for us to respond to the COVID situation, which will see both a North Island series and a South Island series, and an amazing point system that can bring all of that together to create some national titles. We are really excited to present this format with our partners Suzuki, 2XU and ASICS, as we try through this situation to make our events as accessible to as many of our community as possible. So get out there, enjoy this new format, enjoy the racing, and encourage those within your community to give triathlon a go when it's going to be just around the corner. Enjoy the new season.
I'm so excited about the upcoming Triathlon New Zealand National Series. There's more events to choose from, some great new locations, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to be able to accumulate points over multiple events towards the series.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Really excited to know that for this next summer season, TriNZ have created a series for us athletes to get into. So North Island, South Island series coming together to create an overall national champion over a series of races. So regardless of whether you're a short course or a long course athlete or a cross triathlete, there's something for everybody. Really looking to be part of it. Foot traffic athletes are pumped for it. It's going to be fantastic. Weather's going to be great. There's no lockdown. Happy days. Look forward to seeing you over summer. Cheers.
Hi guys, it's been a really long time since we were last allowed to race and meet up with all of our friends that share the passion for the same sport that we do. So I'm really looking forward to the opportunity to race again next season with TriNZ. There's going to be a lot more races and a lot more opportunities for us to get together as a community and share our passion and cheer each other on. And it's going to be a lot more affordable and accessible for everyone. So I can't wait to see you guys all again. Good luck training until then.
I'm super excited about the upcoming Tri Series. Having multiple races to race across the country and the opportunity to become a national champion is the extra motivation that I need to get through the winter.
Really excited to be a part of this series. 3 of these races are fairly close to the Manawatu, and we're really excited as a Manawatu Triathlon Academy and a Manawatu Triathlon Club to be a part of it. The series will involve where an athlete can race, put their 3 big races together to get an overall champion, and we're really excited to hopefully be in running to get one of those age group champion spots. So really looking forward to racing.
Hi, Lee Davidson here from the Canterbury Tri Club. I've been asked to say a few words about becoming a volunteer at our triathlon events. If you aren't racing in an event because you may be injured or you may have let your fitness slide, why not come along and volunteer? It could inspire you to get fit again or to help keep you motivated as you work through your injury. It's a great way to see your mates racing too and to cheer them along. Finally, it can give you a new appreciation for our event coordinators who work really hard behind the scenes to put these events together. So come on, have a go at volunteering and help support the sport that we love. Cheers!
Suzuki's been partnering with Triathlon New Zealand for over 12 years now and are pleased to do the 2021 series also. Triathlon fits well with the Suzuki way of life philosophy, live everyday life. We wish you all the very best for the season coming up. Hope your training goes well.
You are going to get to go to a lot of places that haven't had races before, and a lot of those will be really close to home for you. So that'll be great for athletes. It'll also be great for technical officials who will have the opportunity to officiate close to home. If you're thinking about becoming a technical official, now's a really good time. We've got online training available now, and you'll be able to do your first race really close to home. So if you are keen on becoming an official, then please get hold of Mel at TryNZ, and I'm sure she'll be very keen to set you up. Other than that, we'll look forward to seeing you all out on the course sometime in the coming season. Cheers.
That's awesome. I don't know about everyone else, but I am super pumped to get into that national series. I love the points allocation. I want to get out there and watch out all you 35 to 39-year-olds. I'm on the hunt for that awesome, cool new medal that the New Zealand National Series will have this coming season. So we're only a minute 20 away from the men starting, the A category men starting this loop. It's the big loop today, so it's 43 kilometers, pretty long. It's a big climb in there today. We'll have a look at what the course looks like today. 43 kilometers, like I said, it's the longest one we've had over both Series 1 and Series 2. You can see the elevation map there. So starts off flat for only about 5 kilometers, and then we hit epic climb. That is a huge climb, takes about 20 to 30 minutes depending on how fast you go, and then a big descent. Then we head out to the jungle loop, which will be interesting to see whether people do a bike swap, because it is better to be using a mountain bike on that section of the course. They come back around, mostly flat after that, and you'll probably be wanting to have a feather power up for that hill, an aero power up for the sprint, and there's a new power up called the steamroller. Now that would be perfect for the use in the jungle. We'll talk a bit more about that in the race. If it was my strategy, I'd attack the climb, I'd whittle down the group, and then I would hold on those flats, conserve energy for the sprint at the end. So 15 seconds away. We've also fixed the women's feed that we had issues with last week, so we'll be covering them too. They're about 15 minutes away, and these guys are about to start. 5 seconds away. 2, 1, here they go. Got about, across all categories of the men, about 200 participants today. Category A, I think, has around 50 to 60, so pretty stacked and solid field here today. Now I have seen a name that I haven't seen before, and his profile picture was of a professional cyclist. Not him, it was a professional cyclist from Jumbo-Visma. But if anyone's heard of this Abercrombie and can give me a bit of detail about Abercrombie, it'd be interesting to know who that is and if we need to watch out for them today. So like I said, it's going to be a short little leader. We've got Cassius East here. Good to see Cassius back. We've got Bobby Cowles leading out like he did in race number 2. Cassius East looks like he's on that green Tron bike with the red kit there and some nice sunglasses. So these guys will be just heading now around that 5 kilometer relatively flat lead in to the big epic climb. So you can see they're all staying together here. They're dropping massive power at about 5.96 watts per kg. If you want to see an interesting little behind the scenes, I saw that Steph from Witsup actually did a behind the scenes of Annabelle Luxford preparing for one of the Z Pro triathlon races, and it was quite an interesting look. She's actually had to be getting up at about 3 in the morning for a 4 a.m. start. So these international athletes, if they want to race on that pro Zwift circuit, you know, they've got some early starts. I know Ella Harris was racing at 2 in the morning during lockdown. and it just showed, she talked about the start of the race, and if you're not used to the Zwift starts, you get dropped off pretty much in the first minute, but I can see that these guys are used to the start. They've settled down now to about 4.3 to 4.5 watts per kg. We're just watching Cassius East here. Looks like Winston Briggs is just ahead of him, and then we've got a couple of international riders here as well. John Newsom's up there along with Bobby Kells, so that's a good start from John Newsom if he can stay in this bunch, but it really is going to get blown apart on that climb, and we're going to see who has got the climbing legs today. It is a interesting one with Zwift, because I can tell you, as we just got an aerial shot over the ocean there, but I do a little bit of racing on Zwift, and you know in that first 5 minutes whether you've got the legs, because it starts so fast. Pretty much all the lactic acid goes straight into the legs, and you'll know pretty quickly whether you're going to last up that climb. It is I have raced it a few times where people have done a long range attack over the bridge before the climb, so I'll be interested to see if anyone does that today. Takes about 20 minutes, like I said, and it starts with a big, steep, sort of 10% gradient, and that is where a lot of attacks happen, and then it somewhat eases off to more like a 6 to 8% gradient, but then 2/3 of the way up, it really just starts rolling. So I would be, if these guys, I would be breaking it down into a more manageable chunk of just thinking, I only have to get 2/3 of the way up, and then you can sort of make use of the downhills. Cassius East is doing a lot of work off the front here. I haven't really seen him go back at all. So he's riding around 4.5, and it's never really a great strategy to be leading a big pack like this. The perfect place is if you picture the pack like a cone. You want to be just sort of at the back but in the middle. That is a perfect place to be on Zwift. You do run a little bit of a risk of getting dropped, but if you know that you can just put in 5 seconds of hard power and catch back up, then that's actually better than being right off the front the whole time. So we've got Tyrone Hellier now leading the pack with Tony O'Hagan in here. William Leong, he's out of Manawatu Triathlon Club. Will O'Connor, he's doing well in the league. Bobby Kells has obviously got good legs today, so that's quite an interesting one. I know that he is from an elite rowing background. He's also part of a study currently at AUT Millennium. So if anyone of the males riding today, it's just for the males, the study is keen to partake, you go in and do some power tests, which are never fun, but you do them in fasted and unfasted states to see how that impacts your power. There's also a female test going on there too, which I've signed up for, and that's around your 3-minute power thresholds and whether that is an accurate depiction of your FTP. So great lot of studies going on at AUT Millennium at the moment. We usually keep the TriNZ accredited coach page up to date with those. So we'll give a bit of a shout out to our sponsors today. Obviously, always Domestique, Barry there. He has been awesome to supporting this series, and I know he's set up a lot of you with your trainers, rents and hires out smart trainers, and also has a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm about to buy some new Asiamo power pedals off Barry. And we've got Suzuki. They are bringing us the national series, as you saw in the video at the start of this coverage. So fantastic. Suzuki is a long-time supporter of Triathlon New Zealand, and we're super appreciative of everything they do. Manuka Performance, big supporter of these series. I've got some of their gels right next to me, actually. There we go. So the Manuka Performance, awesome tasting product, gotta say. Really, really like it. 2XU, they've been giving out some great prize packs, and ASICS as well as delivering some of our spot prizes for the series and also supporting our national series happening in real life coming up this season. So very pumped about that happening. Cassius East, has he pushed a little hard? He's just dropping off the back here, I've noticed. So we move our way to the front, and this is where you can see that little glowing line on the road. That is where this climb starts, and like I said, it kicks up very quickly. You can see here straight up to 10%, and this is going to hurt. We've got someone attacking off the front. Cassius East again, very impressive. So he is just pushing the pace. I swear I saw him out the back just before. He's made his way to the front. We've got Andy Martin here, Ben Phillips. Now Ben Phillips, Ryan Kazanowski, we've got danger men up here. Ben Phillips is making a little surge here, 5.8 watts per kg. This is serious. He knows, he must know this course because he knows put in the effort now when the gradient goes up and then it settles down just a little bit. But if you can get a gap here, this is the perfect place to have a little bit of an attack. And I can just see some people putting in some messages. Kate Brown, hoping you can get on. You've got some internet issues. I really hope you don't have a Zwift mechanical today, Kate, because you had a great race last weekend. Rachel Quinn, you've tried the Manuka Honey and Apple on your Wednesday long run from the Manuka Performance. It is delicious, isn't it? I'm quite enjoying those gels. And Ben Phillips still here, 6.6 watts per kg off the front with C. Smith. Someone tell me who C. Smith is. Haven't seen him recently. So a bit of a new one to this race here today. Then we've got good old Josh Harrison right in behind Ben Phillips. Josh Harrison is always there mixing it up. He's always talking a bit of smack. I log in and enter the race pretty early and I can always see him, you know, riling up his competitors. So he is on the chase. He has caught up to Ben Phillips. He knows this is a legit attack. You can see the field has strung out. They've got a 1 second lead on Andy Martin. Ryan Kazanowski, he's riding it. Oh, he's sprinting up. He's got 10 watts per kg. He's sprinting up. He knows this is a definite effort here to break away from the main pack. We've got Ryan Kazanowski. He's in the orange 80s style headband. And I've got car here. Martin Rush has just dropped 2 seconds back, as is Travers. Oh, we've got a Legion rider here. So this is another, we talked a bit about them last time. So I know they're not part of the New Zealand Tri League, but I've got to say it's a great story. So if you go onto GCN or YouTube and just click in Legion Cycling, there are some great documentaries on this team. We'll follow this. So these riders, it's awesome that they've come out and turned up. They're a professional team out of the US, and they're currently fundraising to get more minority groups into cycling in America and really have a youth program that brings these guys through into the majors in cycling. So an awesome team. They're really, really pretty strong in the American cycling scene. So great to see that here. So that little shot we just saw there we go. We've whittled down that group. So like I said at the start, when I talked about how this race would pan out, I did say here, if we go back to how the course looked, in that insights, attack on the climb, whittle down the group, then hold on for the sprint at the end. So I do think this is perhaps what has happened now, is that the group has whittled down. They are actually getting caught by that chase though. So they were down to a group of 12. I think it'll end up being a group of about 20 because that group has just pulled up. I can't see who was leading that. It might have been Tyrone Hellier. You got John Newsom in there, and they are hitting this climb proper. You can see on the map on the top right-hand screen, they're about a quarter of the way up. You can see the sign there saying Village Pass, 8.3 kilometers. So it is quite a long drag to the top of this climb. If we go up, back up to the front, still being led out by Ben Phillips with Ryan Kazanowski putting in a bit of an attack here. He just went up. No, he's dropped back. He realizes he doesn't want to point his bike out into the wind. And women's race, we've got about 4.5 minutes to go until the women's race kicks off. All categories start at the same time in the women's race. So we'll be able to follow the A's and B's and C's and D's as they go through. So these guys are up to around a 5% gradient. So how would you use power-ups in a race like today? I've got to tell you, if there was any race that I would be wanting to do, it's today's race. I just love this climb. I love how tactical it is. Power-ups play a huge role. So if I was racing this, let's just have a look back at the map here. I just want to see. Right, so they don't go up to the radio tower. So the radio tower is a huge 14% grade after this climb. So they don't go up to the radio tower. So if I was racing this, right now, if I had a feather power up, I would be saving that for just, I probably actually would have used it earlier on that climb and done a bit of breakaway when it was 10%. So the feather power up makes the most difference when you're at the higher gradients. And then at the top, you're going to get a new power up. So I'm not sure what I would use on the climb other than a feather. Probably nothing really. Maybe invisibility if you're going to put an attack. But the thing with this course is it's 43 kilometers the climb, you're not even going to be sort of 15 kilometers into the race. You've still got 30k to go after that. So you did want to whittle down the group like they're doing. They need to get a big gap. To be honest, this gap isn't long enough of 4 seconds because there's a huge downhill. Now, a little, I don't know if anyone racing today is watching the live feed, but I'll tell you a little hint with this climb of how you want to get away. Maybe some of the women are watching and they can try this strategy. I got caught out by this, and it was a great attack strategy, is attack on the downhill. So a lot of people sit in that super tuck, but actually if you pedal and put out big power numbers on the down, granted you're not going to get a good recovery off this uphill, but if you sat in the pack on the uphill, then attack the down. Someone actually gained about 45 seconds on me just from attacking the downhill. So it is an interesting little strategy. As we see Smith here, if anyone can tell me who C. Smith is, he has just pulled away now. I think it's, no, that was Corbin Strange who actually came to one of the other races. We've got C. Smith here. He has put in a little dig. He's got 3 seconds on Ryan Kazanowski, Jones, Martin, Rush, Ben Phillips here. He may get pulled in. Like I said, it's about 6 to 7% for a good portion of this climb, but then it does flatten out, and that is where people can catch up. But that aerial shot, what a beautiful little landscape, isn't it? Like you see a little sheep farm there, and one of the houses really does sort of have that Alp environment feel to it, doesn't it? We've got Josh Harrison leading that chase, but he's not leading it with a lot of motivation. He's kind of just riding at the same pace as Smith. He's just not letting him get away. Smith here on this bright green Tron bike with the alien jersey on. And the women's race, we're there about a minute and a half away from the women's race. So we are able to follow both races today. So looks like the Legion rider is catching up. They're about, he has put in an attack. He's 1 second off, so that would have burnt a few matches, but now he is back up and he is attacked through. So this Legion racer has attacked through. Is he on a time trial bike? That is a bizarre, he is on a time trial bike. Now that is a terrible choice of bike, I've got to say, just to be honest. The reason why is if you're on a time trial bike, you can't actually draft off anyone. So he is going to find the rest of this race when they're not on the hill extremely difficult. So maybe he did that as a strategy to make the race harder, but he cannot draft off anybody when he's on a time trial bike. So that was an interesting strategy on this rider's part. As we see, Smith has caught back up to the Legion rider with a good little pack behind. We've got Taz Self, Jones, John Newsom still in touch, only 4 seconds back. Ben Phillips has dropped to 5 seconds back. He needs to be a bit careful there. So we follow Ben Phillips here. He's riding with Cassius East. They just need to settle into a good rhythm. They're riding at about 4.5 watts, so probably need to pick up that pace a bit. We might just cut over now to the women's race, which is about to start. And like I said, all of the women will start together. So we'll just make sure we're following Emma O'Connor here as they start their race. And looks as though she's putting in an early attack. So she did very well in the race last week. We've got Emma O'Connor here. And she is leading that out with Kate Brown. So it looks like Kate Brown, you did manage to get on to Zwift and not have any issues. I'll just bring that a little bit closer so I can see that a bit better. And oh, there we go. Oh, we do have Amy Hollenby out today. So she, I've not seen her racing in the last few weeks. So good to see Amy Hollenby there today as well. Sienna Gray, Rebecca Clark, always a great supporter of the Zwift women's racing. And Angie Wall there, Nick Sproul, Britt Litton. So Britt Litton is always lighting it up in the B category. She's doing very well, but she was actually pipped at the post last week, and then if you want to go back and watch it, it's probably one of the best women's sprint finishes I've seen was between Jenny Story, ex-New Zealand rower, and Blackstick, so extremely good sporting pedigree there. and she had a great sprint there with Brittany Litton, so if you can go back and have a look at that. But these guys have pulled away, so they are really pulling away from that B category. I thought that the Bs who start at the same time would really want to get on their heels. So it looks like Britt Litton is leading that chase pack to try and get on the back of this leading group of As. But they really need to jump on there because they're going to fall backwards if they don't get on. So today's ride does really favour that what I would say is sort of the lighter rider up that big long climb, but then the heavier riders on the descent can catch really quickly. You almost need about a minute at the top of the climb to be able to really break away. So the women here, they're just riding that 5k of sort of flat ground. We might jet back to the men and see where they're at, and then we're going to follow the women as they hit that 10% grade. Good angle there though, as we see that chase pack is going to catch up. So that's going to be an interesting A and B category all together as they hit that climb, because that you can just probably see in that angle there, they're only 1 second back. So Angie Wall did a great pull on the front there and has managed to pull that group of Bs up, which has got Sarah O'Grady, Brett Litton, Angie Wall, Fancy Nancy, which is Vicky Fleming, I believe, Amy Hollenby's up there, and Rachel Quinn from Hagen Sport has also caught up. So that is a good lead bunch of women there in that group. So let's click over to the men and see where they're at. They've just headed into the clouds. We've got, it looks like, a bit of an attack here happening. Oh, no, there we go. So they were actually dropped off the pace a little bit. So we've got a big group of men. I'm surprised that this is not whittled down further. So we've got Rush here, Martin, Ryan Kazanowski, Jones, Taz Self, Josh Harrison, all together in this lead group. There has actually been 2 have dropped off. So that was Ben Phillips, surprised about that. So Ben Phillips here is about 6 seconds off the pace, with Martin, and Heath Eckersley there is 4 seconds behind them with Brodie Madgwick. Bobby Kells about 16 seconds back, so they're in a third chase pack down the road. Good little chase pack though, Rob Dallymore, Bobby Kells, Brodie Madgwick, so that's a fairly elite group. I wonder if Rob Dallymore is riding his new bike on the trainer today. Let us know, Rob. I saw you have a brand new bike, so I wonder if you're going to put that on the trainer today or if it's just for outdoor riding. So it looks like this Legion rider is putting in another attack. He is on that time trial bike, so he's really going to have to because he can't draft. But behind them, we've got Josh Harrison and Ryan Kazanowski with C. Smith there, who have formed a nice little group. They're kind of strung out, so they haven't really separated that much. So I think if these guys stay within that 10-second mark of each other, they will be able to catch on the downhill. I do worry a little bit about Ben Phillips, who's now dropped to 12 seconds off this little group. And if he lets that stretch out too much more, he may have quite a bit of trouble catching up, because the pack dynamic on that downhill, they go very, very quickly. So just keeping a little eye on the women here who are still in that big group of A's and B's. We'll flick over to them once they start that 10% part of the climb. So Ryan Kazanowski here is running about 6.5 watts, so he's putting in a definite little attack here off the front. You know, yeah, he does not want anyone to go. He's very motivated today. Ryan Kazanowski is good on the climbs. Now, like I talked about before, it's quite an interesting course. We go over a lot of different terrain. So we start on this big climb that's really going to add some lactic acid to the legs. It's going to tire them out. And then they go on a big downhill so they can recover. And then it's a loop around jungle. So this jungle loop, it's actually made of dirt roads, so the mountain bike is the fastest. And I saw a little bit of chat in the men's pen at the start about whether people would actually switch bikes. When you switch bikes in Zwift, you have to go back to like a setting screen, and you're going to lose about 30 seconds, but you gain about 45 seconds, I think, on that course on a mountain bike. But then you'll lose the time again when you go to switch back to your road bike. Now, there is a new power-up on Zwift. It's called the Steamroller. If I got a Steamroller, I would definitely be set for that part. It's going to make the road appear flat, and then you are able to ride very quickly around that jungle loop, as we see Smith here off the front again. Now I am going to go back to the women's race because they are about to hit that really steep part of the climb. So let's have a look where we're at here. So like I said, a big group of the women's riders. We've got Kate Brown here from Sweat 7, so she managed to get on. She's leading out very well against, well, we've got Rebecca Clark here in the lead. As I bring this a bit closer, it's quite small on my iPad. Here we go, Bex Clark leading out the women's race at about 4.7 watts per kg. We've got Charlotte Brown from Hagen Sport, Emma O'Connor, Kate Brown from Sweat 7, so a great bunch of different coached athletes here. We do have a C rider, so that's Charlotte Brown in this group. So there is a C rider. She might find she gets categoried up after this kind of a quality of ride. I believe she is a younger rider, so she may have that weight advantage on her side of just being a bit lighter and a bit more able to push the higher watts per kg up this climb, which is vital. So Emma O'Connor is now leading out the front here with Kate Brown behind her. They're putting in about 4.8 watts per kg up this climb. I've got to say, this is the course where I just wish I was out there racing. This is just, it's sort of a race of attrition. It's whoever can just keep away the fatigue, and it's just, I love it. It's a great course, 43 kilometers, starts with a huge epic climb, and it's just, yeah, one of my favorite courses on Zwift. So stoked to see so many people out here giving it a go as well. Emma O'Connor leading out here. They've actually started to drop Amy Hollenby, who's now second back. Leet, who I'm not familiar with, if anyone knows her, she's a second back as well. Looks like Vicky Fleming has dropped to 3 seconds back. Sienna Gray 4 seconds back. Britt Lytton 4 seconds back. We've got Heather Neal 5 seconds back. Jenny Story 6 seconds back, and Nick Sproul around 7 to 8 seconds back, and Charlotte Brown has dropped off to about 10 seconds back now. So we've kind of got a big strunger. I wouldn't even say that it's separated yet into packs, but Emma O'Connor is absolutely drilling this off the front, and she has got Kate Brown on her wheel, but Emma O'Connor, she's putting in little attacks here and there up to 7 watts per kg there. So there was a big little turn out of the pedals. I think she probably would have got out of the saddle and just really drilled that part there. So this is splitting up. It has actually split up. So we've got the main pack there, Rebecca Clark, Kate Brown, Emma O'Connor. That is an elite bunch of women in this little group of 3, but this Leet rider, L-E-E-T-E, if anyone knows her, is just 5 seconds back, with Britt Lytton 6 seconds back. If they want to drop Britt Lytton, they're going to have to get probably that magic number of 15 seconds to drop those riders. But they're hitting, now it levels out at about 3% here, and then they will start to pick up again, and we'll just see what happens there, and then we'll flick back and see what the men are up to. So these guys have just crested the top of the hill. So we had the Legion rider crest first. We've got Smith here just doing a sprint. He is really desperately trying to catch on because he knows he'll get a great draft effect on that downhill. So we've got Smith here. He has taken that King of the Mountains. He has gone over in first place over that climb. We've got the Legion rider, a rider from, I can't quite see that flag. Then we've got a Welsh rider actually, and then we've got a bunch of the league athletes, Ryan Kazanowski, Jones, Rush, Martin, Cassius East is now 25 seconds back. So that has blown up. So these guys are now hitting that downhill drag, and it looks as though Jones here has dropped off a little bit, but he's got a good little group with him. I'd imagine that this group with Ryan Kazanowski, Andy Martin, Tyrone T. Rush, and Josh Harrison, they'll know what to do. Josh Harrison, they're dropping a drafting power up, so obviously maybe he's hurting a bit, needs to get a bit of help there. So they will, I think, catch up to those top 3 because they have a huge draft effect being in that bunch. I wouldn't actually be surprised either if Cassius East in this group, he's in no man's land, which isn't where you want to be. He's got John Newsom as well in no man's land, about 6 seconds back. And you've got a group with Ben Phillips, Heath Ecclesey, Tyrone Hellier. They're only 25 seconds back. They may catch on the downhill, but it will be hard. They can't go into their super tugs, they're going to have to power the entire way down. So that's what happened at the men's race here. We'll follow Smith as he's in that top 3 bunch with the others about 9 seconds back. We're in a group of about 6, which I think may end up catching up. So let's see what's happening here with the women as they're going up this climb. So Kate Brown here, she is leading off from Emma O'Connor. Let's have a look here. We've got a lot of technology going on next to me. Kate Brown leading here with about 4.7 watts per kg. With Emma O'Connor, she's still pushing the high watts here. So if you're down to around a 3 to 4% gradient, you do get a draft effect still. When it goes into these climbs, it's a bit harder to draft, but it does look like Kate, Emma and Rebecca Clark are working very well together. With Amy Hollenby, she was a great rider in our Series 1. She knows Zwift and she rides very well, so keep an eye on her. She's only 2 seconds back, but they have put in a lot of time into Britt Lytton there and Heather Neal, so they're about 16 seconds back. If we have a look with Jenny Story there, just about 20 seconds off the pace, so she's just behind Britt Lytton. She needs to keep them in her sights. She's got Sienna Gray and Vicky Fleming right on her wheel. Nick Sproul and Angie Wall and Charlotte Brown having a great little battle there. They're about 15 seconds back. I think Angie Wall and Nick Sproul are one of the 2 riders sort of going at it at the top of that B category, as well as Britt Lytton and Heather Neal. So there's nice little battles going on here. We've got Anthea Oliver, you can see, and Sarah O'Grady. Both, one's in the Foot Traffic kit and one is in the Wellington Tri Club kit. Rachel Quinn just behind them. Nicole Eumann, great to see her here from Auckland City Tri Club. Catherine Reardon here, great to see Catherine out riding in Zwift. She's new to the series. I've just seen a few of her Instagram posts. So I'm pretty sure she's still based down in Christchurch, but representing North Harbour Tri Club. She will be training, I believe, for Coast to Coast again this year. Had her first crack at it last year and did very well. Got Sophie Lyskett here from Foot Traffic, the yellow and black kit, with Tracy Livingston just dropping off her wheel. Tracy, great supporter of triathlon from Auckland City Tri Club, coached by O'Hagan Sport. She's does a huge amount for the sport around the event delivery of the duathlon each year, as we saw featured in our national series. So out at the Pukekohe Raceway, just on her wheel, Danger Woman, Holly Fletcher. Holly Fletcher, a previous elite rower. We've got quite a few ex-elite rowers here. So Holly Fletcher here, she actually lives in the same house as Jenny Story and Bobby Cowles, who are also racing today. So these guys are all set up, motivating each other, sitting there together. And I do believe Bobby was coaching Jenny through her sprint last week. And right on Holly Fletcher, we have Alexa Westphal, also representing North Harbour Tri Club. And she is pushing to stay on the wheel of Holly Fletcher. So hopefully she'll stay there as we go down. We see a whole bunch. We've got Tammy Reid here. So we saw Tammy actually featured in our video at the start. She's one of the youth head coaches for the Manawatu Tri Academy. And she's actually, we're working now to get virtual setups into all our youth hubs around the country. And she's been our first cab off the rank. She's got a couple of smart trainers there and getting her youth athletes involved in some virtual racing. So great to see Tammy here leading out with Kelly Good behind her on her wheel. And some of our Ds here as well, Jeannie Rogers. So we've got Monique Spedding, another O'Hagan Sport athlete, Tracy Barr. So great turnout from the women today. We'll make our way back to the front of the field as we see, looks like Rebecca Clark has actually dropped off here. So that's an interesting development in the women's field. Kate Brown and Emma O'Connor working very well together in around that 4.3 to 4.5 watts per kg. And they have dropped Rebecca Clark with Amy Hollenby and Leet here just about 25 seconds behind this hot pace being set by Kate Brown. So woman here has really decimated the field from that pace going up. You know, you're hovering around 4.5 watts per kg. That's about 325 watts. That is a very, very hot pace to be riding up this climb. it will be interesting to see whether maybe, she tired out the legs just a little bit too much. There's still, like I said, 30 kilometers to go after you hit the top of that climb. Let's see what's happening here in the men's race as they go towards the jungle circuit. So like I thought, they have all come together. So that top three have been caught here by Ryan Kazanowski is now up in that front group. We've got Carr here, Andy Martin, I believe that is the top group. It's a little bit tricky. There's some Bs I can see just who are above them on the climb but have come into the feed as well. But no, it looks like Smith here was caught by this group. Now what I want to see, is anyone going to put the steamroller out? I haven't seen, I think I saw it used a little bit last week on the cobbles in Innsbruck, but I haven't seen it used in this jungle route, and I'm really interested to know whether this steamroller does have a massive benefit. So as we see here, we're following Smith, we've got Jones, and actually that Legion rider, like I said, he's on that time trial bike and he would have just been dropped like a hot potato because he can't draft. So not a good bike choice for that Legion rider, but you learn. So we've got Cassius East, Tyrone Hellier, Heath Ecclesey. They're about a minute 20 back now. I don't think they're going to be caught. I don't think they're going to catch this elite group at the front, just being led here by Ryan Kazanowski. We've got Rush, we've got an American rider, and Josh Harrison, our prolific Zwift athlete. And just glancing over at the women's races, it looks like Kate Brown has put in a little attack on Emma O'Connor, so we'll just keep having a look over there. And here we go. As they're into these dirt roads, I don't believe anyone has done a bike swap. So everyone always talks about doing a bike swap, but I actually think in reality, the time you're going to lose is just massive. So we'll let's have a look over on Zwift Power and see if I can see who actually crested that hill first. So let's have a look at these live results. So we've got a few in this A+ category. If you want to have a look at the results as they go through live, Zwift Power is a great way to do this. You can see they're about to start. You can see where all the riders are, the A, B, Cs and Ds. We see we've got a group of 6 at the front, averaging about 4.5 watts per kg. We've got Adam Martin, Carl Smith, okay, Josh Harrison, Ryan Kazanowski, Tim Rush, and then we've got a chase group of Ben Phillips, Heath Ecclesey, John Newsom. There's about 7 riders in that chase group. Tyrone Hellier, Sean Travers, and then we've got a second chase pack on the road being led by 9 riders, Bobby Cowles, but they're only averaging about 4.2. Interesting though, the second chase pack is averaging 4.6 versus 4.4 watts per kg of the lead pack. So I do actually think they're at risk of being caught here. I'm going to click here, so you can click on everyone's names. I'm going to have a click on this Carl Smith, who I don't know too much about, and just see if we can get a few little stats pop up about Carl Smith. Let's have a look. He is a level 29 Zwifter, so he knows how to Zwift. It's always dangerous. He's got a 20-minute power, 5.26 watts per kg. That is hot. 5-minute power of 5.78 watts per kg, and he's not much of a sprinter, so his prowess is in the 20-minute power, so he will not want this to be coming down to a sprint. So he did well to break away on that climb and just whittle it down to this group of 5. He does not want to face a sprint at the end. So as we see, go back to this live, I wonder if there's we can see who actually, there we go. So looks like we can actually see who climbed first. We've got Carl Smith was first over the KOM. We had the Legion rider, an American. 4th was Ryan Kazanowski, fastest time. Then Adam Martin, then Josh Harrison, Tim Rush, Cassius East. So Carl Smith, fastest time up the climb, followed by Ryan Kazanowski. So it's interesting little stats there from that men's race, as we see there. Still in the jungle, and looks like Jones has been dropped here. Why would he have been dropped? He is on a very basic Zwift setup there, which is surprising because I thought, he's a level 29 Zwifter. I thought he would have been right up there. Jones, sorry, not Smith. So yeah, this Jones rider has been dropped, but he is on a very basic setup, and just that bike is going to just feel like he's riding through mud. So he needs to get back on this group, otherwise he's going to be dropping right back to this group behind. So Ryan Kazanowski still pushing the pace off the front around this jungle climb. They're going a big downhill, and then they're going to be doing a big long drag uphill. So we'll head back to the women's race and see what's happening on this climb. As we see Kate Brown still with Emma O'Connor, right, just on her draft, just. It looks like she's about 6 meters behind, 5-6 meters behind. And Rebecca Clark has been well and truly dropped. She is 35 seconds back off this pace, being hit by Kate Brown. Look at her out of the saddle. She is pushing, 63 RPM, around that 280 to 310 watts. So she is absolutely crushing it. She's got a great setup. She's got her little polka dot gloves on. Maybe there's a little good luck charm to get her focused for this climb. Great angle there. You can see Emma O'Connor is desperately trying to stay on her wheel. But like I said, it's 30k still to race from the top of this climb. So Emma O'Connor may be playing it smart here and just reserving a bit of that energy. But Kate Brown, she must know she needs about a minute at the top if she's going to stay away. The risk here, though, is that they've got a big chase pack who is just behind with the sort of group that's about only, separated by about 20 seconds. You've got Leet, Heather Neal, Cadro, Britt Lytton, always a danger woman, Amy Hollenby, Anthea Oliver, Sarah O'Grady, Jenny Story, Nick Sproul. I mean, this group is so sort of tightly packed. Sarah O'Grady, Jenny Story here, Nick Sproul only a second back with Sienna Gray. So they need a big gap at the top of this climb in order to be able to stay away. As we see, Kate Brown has dropped Emma O'Connor. This is an interesting strategy because you could drop her, but you've still got 30k to ride. You're going to TT all the way to the end. You need Emma O'Connor to stay there so that you can work together and get a bit of draft and a bit of rest off each other. So if this was me, I would be typing in game to Emma O'Connor privately, so no one else saw, saying, okay, stay with me. We need to work together to stay away from the group behind. Let's take 1 minute turns each on the front for the remaining 30k and treat this as a little bit of a time trial. So that's what I would be doing. You've really got to work together. And then it would basically be, each woman all in for the last 2 kilometers. Whoever wins, wins. But with 30k still to go, they really need to work together after the top of this climb. And Bex Clark looks like she may just be easing off now. She's at 2.8 watts per kg. She'll just be waiting for that pack to catch her up. So she's got a group to work with. Like I said, they get into this last third. There's a whole lot of rolling up and downs. So they, it goes up to about 12%, then it rolls down again. So this is a good little area that you can actually recover on those downs. As we see, she's gained about 8 seconds on Emma O'Connor. So this is I'm going to say epic climb up the epic QOM for Kate Brown from Sweat 7. So great that she didn't have her Zwift mechanicals. I saw that she had a few Wi-Fi issues, but she's made it on, and she is doing very well in this race. Just want to make sure that my iPad is charging. Hold on, everyone. Hopefully that'll stay charging. It's a long race today, so we've got to make sure we've got all the charging happening. So as we follow Kate Brown here, we'll follow her to the top of the climb, then we'll head back to the men's race and see if there's any developments. And this looks like she has already got almost 3 minutes on that big chase pack, which has got Amy Hollenby, Anthea Oliver, Sarah O'Grady, Sienna Gray, Nick Sproul, Jenny Story, Angie Wall. There's a huge group there that are chasing, and they'll have a big pack dynamic. Then you've got Emma O'Connor has now 25 seconds back, so she cracked. Looks like she was sticking on Kate Brown, but she has massively cracked. And I just don't know what Kate's going to do here, because she's got a big lead, but then she's still got so much more to race. So if we go back and have a look at what this course looks like, you know, they've done that huge climb, which is around here, and they've got a big downhill, but really it's sort of, they've got a lot of tarmac left to race before they hit that finish line, which is just up here. So, you know, they're only just here. So that's a long way for her to race solo. And I'm just wondering if the, you know, maybe Emma O'Connor and Beck Clark could work together a bit here and catch her up. So she has got a significant lead now on Rebecca Clark. Emma O'Connor has pulled back and is up to about 13 seconds behind, but that will extend when Kate Brown crests the hill first and starts bombing that descent. She can get a good little rest because she can drop into that super tug and just stop pedaling and relax there as she goes down that downhill, still hovering around that 300 watts raw power. So she has obviously got some legs on her to be able to pull away this much from a very talented group of riders behind her. Great aerial shot there. As we see, she is about to crest this climb. We'll follow her over the top, just see what that gap is back to Emma O'Connor behind. Bex Clark is now a minute back. She's about to get caught by that chaser Leet, I'm not too sure on. And here we go, Kate Brown just coming up to this last little drag. She'll round this corner and we'll see the finish, well not the finish, the QOM banner at the top, and you'll probably see she'll get a little QOM jersey for, I would say, climbing this the fastest out of anyone. So be good to see what time she actually managed to do on here and how far behind those chasers will be. So here we go. You can just see in that top little map, we'll have a, if we have a view from the back, you'll see her approaching that QOM banner, and then she's got a very long descent before she hits the jungle, which is where the men are riding currently. So she's got enough of a lead that if she wanted to, she could do a bike swap. Again, I'm just not really a big fan of that, but we'll see what she decides to do. I'm not sure how she's going to play it with this big lead from the woman behind her. So there we go, beautiful shot as she goes through the QOM arch, about almost 30 seconds ahead of the rider behind, and she, I think, should have a well-deserved break. There she goes, taking a little drink. She's still running about 4 watts per kg, but we'll see what happens in that women's field on the descent. Let's head back to the men and see where these guys are now. So following Ryan Kazanowski, still, there's been a little attack here though. So we've got the American rider, Ryan Kazanowski has jumped on his wheel. They're now on this long drag uphill. So they've been going uphill for a little while. It looks like they have broken away only by about 2 seconds from Josh Harrison, Smith there, Rush, and Jones, who was a little bit further back. So they've put in a little attack, but it doesn't seem to have come to much. Looks like that pack has caught up, or will catch up fairly soon, as we see looks like a rider there just dropping a draft power up. Haven't seen too many power ups being dropped today. Then we have a chase pack just behind with Cassius East leading that out. John Newsom on his wheel. Heath Ecclesey there, he's doing well in the A category. Ben Phillips, who started off very well, putting in a lot of effort at the start of the race, but now is in this chase pack here. And then the third chase pack on the road, look like it's blown up a little bit. We've got Brody Madgwick, just with Anderson here having taken a little bit of an attack off the front. James Doust, he was the winner of our B category in Series 1, and he's now up in the A cats. Winston Briggs behind him with Rob Dallymore, doing very well there. And Taz Self, looks like Fish there has just dropped that feather power up, so that's good on that 4% climb. And Bobby Kells here, like I said, he's an ex-elite rower, and he is actually riding in real life right next to Jenny Story and Holly Fletcher, who are in the women's race. So great to see a whole flat load of people getting into Zwifting. Taz Self here has just dropped off the back, so make our way back up through this men's field, which has sort of broken down into... Oh, someone has done a little mountain bike switch there, so that's an interesting little strategy. I still don't really think it works, but here we go. C. Smith here, they've just gone up that big bridge climb. Ryan Kazanowski still at the front with Josh Harrison, so these guys have settled into a nice little pack of about seven or eight here in that lead group there. As we watch the women, so I'll just go back to this because I am quite interested in what's happening in this women's race, and that Kate Brown has now got a minute on Emma O'Connor. Like I said, if you get to the top of a climb and you drill the descent like Kate Brown's doing here, maybe she heard my little suggestion at the start, maybe she knew already, but if you drill these descents and don't actually go into the super tuck, you can expand your gap by a huge amount. So we see Emma O'Connor here, she was just in that super tuck. She's in a bit of no woman's land, these top three are, so she's about a minute behind Kate Brown. Then you've got Beck Clark, who's almost 2 minutes now behind Emma O'Connor, and she's been chased by this elite rider. So I might just see if I can pull up a little bit of information about that rider and just see. So Kate Brown, she crested first, as we know. Emma O'Connor second, Rebecca Clark third, and it looks like Leet, she's still cresting the climb, so she may still just be cresting over the climb. Let's have a look if we can see a little bit more information about her, because I haven't seen her name pop up too much. She may actually not even be on Zwift Power, which means not really in the league, fighting out for the league positions today, but interesting to see her riding there. So let's have a look. We had Kate Brown. She is averaging 4.3 watts per kg, with Emma O'Connor at 4.2 watts per kg. So that's interesting. She may not actually be caught, with Rebecca Clark at 3.9. So she is definitely probably going to get caught by Heather Neal and Kim Kadzo, who are riding at about 4 watts per kg. So Kate Brown from Sweat 7, let's have a look at her stats pop up and see if we can get a bit of information. So we'll go back to Kate Brown as we talk about her. So we see Rebecca Clark there, and here we go, Kate Brown. So as we're watching her, she is a category racer in both the men's and the women's racing. Her 20-minute power is really where it's at. Her 20-minute power is 311 watts, which is very decent, about 4.3 watts per kg. Her 5-minute power is also very decent. Her sprint's not her strong point, so this is maybe her strategy here, is just to get away. She knows she can drill this power for long periods of time and doesn't have a super strong sprint. So there we go. That's probably her strategy of today, as we see her go through that little green arch heading out into the jungle loop. And if we have a look, maybe at some of the stats here at Emma O'Connor, her beats per minute are very high. She's also got a great 20-minute power of 4.63 watts per kg, so about 255 watts. Her 5-minute power is also very decent, and again her sprinting not super strong. So the two at the front, Emma O'Connor and Kate Brown, are very good at that 20-minute power, but know that they do not have a sprint that would win a sprint category. But the two of them, sprinting together, maybe they'll bring up their sprint stats today. So we'll keep an eye on what the women are doing as we jet back and see where the men are at in this jungle up there. Actually, there we go, just passing some of the women who are entering the jungle, and these guys are coming out of the jungle. So nice little, maybe they had a little wave to their female counterparts there. Ernie Brown, go Kate Brown. So Ernie, I'm assuming you're related to Kate Brown. She is racing very well today. Maybe if you can give us some inside knowledge on Kate's strategy for this morning's race and what we should expect to see from her coming out, as she's holding on to that 4.7 to 4.9 watts per kg. So she looks to me like she's treating this as a big solo time trial effort, with Emma O'Connor now over a minute behind her. So can she hold on for the next 23 kilometres? You let me know. As the men here are 31 kilometres into this race. This has gone a lot faster than I thought. So they are just on 32 kilometres in. We've got C. Smith here leading out these A category men, but there's a nice little bunch of about 7 of them as they are heading out of the jungle, which I always like. I find the jungle it's a bit brutal. It's sort of, you go downhill for about like about a -3% grade average, but it's on dirt roads, so you actually don't get up a whole lot of speed, and then you just have this huge drag of about 3 to 4% out of jungle. So I'm always really stoked when we get to this point and you're back on the road, you're back going fast and back into that more familiar terrain. So we're following C. Smith here. He's in that lovely alien outfit with the green Tron bike. We've got Josh Harrison in this group, Rush, Martin, Kazanowski. That's great. I know Kazanowski does well on these big, long hill climbs, so he's done very well to get into this elite select pack of A group men, about 7 or 8 of them. He actually, because we divide this A group men into A plus and A, might be interesting to know. Yes, so Ryan Kazanowski is actually, it looks like, the only A rider in that group. So he is killing it today. The rest are all A plus riders. So Tyrone Hellier, A plus, Cassius East, A plus. Ben Phillips made it into that group. No, so he's in, actually no, he's in the chase. So yeah, Ryan Kazanowski is doing very well in this group, as he is the only A rider. The rest are all A plus. So good job, Ryan Kazanowski, on your racing today. As we see C. Smith here going into the Super Tuck, they're just heading into this last portion of the downhill out of that jungle circuit, and then they're going to be heading for a little loop around Volcano and then into the finish line. So they've got about just under 10k to go now, but it is mostly flat as they're all going into Super Tuck here. Doesn't that look great? Nice bike setups today too. I love the green Tron. Got a couple of Trons today. We'll see if we can see what other rigs people are riding today. What did I ride when I rode this? I think I jumped on the Specialized Venge maybe, with some lightweight wheels. I think it was the Zip 458. So not sure if I can see anyone on that rig today. There's a lot of Tron bikes out. We do see some Zips there on that Specialized, maybe the Tarmac that person is riding. As a nice aerial shot here as they finally come off the climb into a few of the little dirt roads here through a fishing village in Watopia, and they're going to head out to the volcano, do a little loop around there, mostly flat, a couple of little rollers, and I do believe, unless there's going to be a long range attack, because we're really into flat now, it is going to come down to a sprint finish. And if it comes down to a sprint finish, I'm not sure. I'm thinking Josh Harrison. He might be holding on to an aero power-up. Or it's hard to tell. But yeah, this group of 7, not sure who's going to be able to take it out over the sprint finish. So we'll have a look at where we are on this course now. So they've come through here. They've just gone through this jungle loop. And then they're now coming down here. They've just crossed this little waterway here, and they're just going to do a little loop here around the volcano, and then they're finishing right here in the main boulevard of Watopia. And the sprint finish, there's a sort of a draggy downhill, and I don't know if anyone watched. If you haven't, go and watch it because it was amazing. Is Teresa Adams. She just raced the latest Zwift Triathlon Pro race. And she actually did a longer range sprint when that downhill started with about 400 meters to go, and it was unreal. She sprinted away from the pack, and it was such a great race to watch. So if you have a chance, head on over to YouTube and watch that Z Pro Triathlon Women's race on Zwift. We also had Amelia Watkinson in that race representing New Zealand, but it was Teresa Adam who absolutely dominated the field and had an amazing sprint finish. So great one to watch if you want to go see some good Zwift racing, as we're waiting for those elites to start racing internationally again, which may be a little ways away. So it's good to see them out being virtually racing. Oh, wow. So I'm just going to actually click over to the women's race. So Kate Brown, who we're following here, has now got a 2-minute lead on Emma O'Connor. She is hitting has not dipped below 4 watts per kg almost this entire time. So very, very impressive riding here from Kate Brown. And we've got Bex Clarkey now 2:34 back, and we've got a whole bunch of B riders who have dropped back to about 4 to 5 minutes back. So to be honest, she's only got, but she's got about, just under 20k to go. She's hitting this downhill of Jungle Circuit, and she's going to hit the long drag uphill, and then basically it's all flat. So she may actually be able to stay away, because 2 minutes with Emma O'Connor behind her is a big dominating lead that she's got there. Thanks, Eva Nugent. Go the O'Hagan Sport athletes. They are smashing it today. They are doing very well today out there riding. We've seen Charlotte Brown here in the C category riding up with a whole bunch of Bs. And I think Tony O'Hagan has been doing pretty well in the men's race as well. So looking at Kate Brown here, we might just have a look, see what's happening a bit further back in that women's field. We've got Amy Hollenby here with Heather Neal, Anthea Oliver. Just behind them is Britt Lytton riding with Cadzo. And a wee way back from there is Sienna Gray with Nick Sproul, and Jenny Story just behind them with Angie Wall on her. So the women's race has really disintegrated into a whole lot of just individual riders. So there is one little group back here of about 4, so they will work very well together. You can't underestimate how good it is to be in a pack on Zwift. The pack dynamics mean you can race just super hard. As we go back up here and see our nice little group, Anthea Oliver with Heather Neal and Amy Hollenby. So these guys should work very well together. They may actually end up catching the solo riders of Bex Clark and Emma O'Connor, as we see here. So Kate Brown, as we go back up, is dominating this race, riding now about 4.5 to 4.7 watts per kg, around that 320 watt mark. So very good racing here from Kate Brown. As we head to the men, these guys are heading down another dirt road. A lot of dirt roads today. I haven't seen that steamroller power up being unleashed yet. These guys, we might just follow them to the end. They're actually only 5 kilometers from the end of this race. So long race today, 43 kilometers of racing. So they're just edging up to that hour mark. It was punctuated by that huge climb, which takes, about 20 minutes of just huge effort up 8 kilometers. So these guys are now our select group of 8 riders at the front. We're following C. Smith here. And we've got, it's mostly our lead riders. We've just got one rider here from Wales. But Andy Martin, Josh Harrison, as we see here, and we've got a little attack off the front actually by an American rider, A. Carr here. So a little attack there. I'm not sure why he was putting that in, but Josh Harrison now is looking like he's catching that up. So if I'm going to make a pick, I'm probably going to say Josh Harrison, just because he knows these courses so well, and he does have a really good sprint finish on him. He has got Jones there though, and we can actually see there a few of our other A riders. They're about within a minute back. So you've got a chase group of Cassius East, Ben Phillips, Tyrone Hellier, and John Newsom. So there's a big chase pack behind these guys of about 9 to 10 riders. As they're approaching the 1 hour mark of this race, just about 39 kilometers in, so only about 4 kilometers to go left of racing for these guys, as they now just edge past the beach on the left, and they're going to do this little loop around Volcano, and then they're going to come in to the finish line sprint. So anyone got any picks for who they think is going to win out of this men's group? Let me know. We've just got about 8 riders in here. My pick is Josh Harrison, who we're following at the moment, but you guys let me know who you think is going to win today. Not much has changed in the women's field. Still got Kate Brown here leading out this women's field. So she has still got just under 2 minutes on Emma O'Connor, and it looks like Emma O'Connor and Rebecca Clark may come together. There's only about 15 seconds behind those two now, so I think they will come together. And then there's just a big disintegration behind them of riders sort of in groups of 2s and 3s. So they haven't managed to stay in a pack like these guys have. But yeah, this is impressive. Kate Brown has been riding about 300 watts now for 45 minutes. So that's pretty impressive. She may be seeing a bit of an FTP increase after today's ride as we head to Zwift Power. Yeah, so she has averaged 300 watts now. She's going to be estimated to finish at about 1 hour 11, with Emma O'Connor coming in second at 1 hour 14. So looks like that will be an interesting battle between Emma O'Connor and Rebecca Clark as to who will come second and third today. But unless Kate Brown does something crazy, I think she will be hitting the pavement in first place today. She is averaging a very, very high wattage today. Like I said, around 300 watts here for so far 45 minutes, which is extremely impressive. What is her FTP actually? So if we look, yeah, her FTP is around 296. So she should be able to hold 296 for an hour. So she's probably treated this today as a bit of a FTP test, maybe seeing how long she can hold power for 1 hour and doing it as a bit of a 1 hour time trial. Not sure if Sam Bradley or Stephen Bradley is watching today from Sweat 7, but is that the strategy you had for your athlete out there today? Was it about, you know, doing a basically an FTP test for a 1 hour time trial? So you let me know. It's quite looks like that's the strategy she's following from my point of view, but let's see if we can get some inside knowledge on what her strategy is today. As we look here at the men's race, they have got excuse me, just around 2 kilometers to go now. They're just around the back side of Volcano Loop, and they will be coming around the side here. Like I said, mostly flat. There's a long drag to the finish line. These guys will just be sort of Gruppo Compacto, holding hands now. Their watts, they're still around 4 to 4.5 watts per kg, but they're not going to be killing it because they're not all going to come down to that final sprint. So the reason I say Josh Harrison, as you can see here, he's sitting right at the back of this group. He's just getting the big draft benefit. As I say that, he moves to the front, so not sure, but they're heading now through the tunnel. They've finished their little circuit of Volcano Loop. Now pretty much flat, but a bit of a downhill to the sprint finish along Watopia Boulevard. So not long to go now until these guys lay down those watt bombs and we see who is going to finish first in race number 4 of this Zwift Triathlon League. So 2 races to go after this. We've got the duathlon themed race and the cross themed race. So those are the 2 races left to go, and then that'll round out our Triathlon New Zealand virtual series, as a lot of us now in level 1 head back into our club environments and into some in real life racing. I know in Auckland we've got a duathlon series coming up from Shane Hooks, who does the Rotorua half Ironman. So it's a Powerman duathlon series, and then pretty soon after that in August we've got our national series kicking off with a couple of duathlons, sprint and standard. So some in real life racing coming up, which is awesome. Be great to see if those who have been racing on Zwift have actually managed to pick up some good bike fitness leading into those duathlons. As we see some big watts being dropped here, we've got the Welsh rider leading off the front from Jones and Martin. That is a long range attack that he has put down. 8.2 watts per kg, but look at these guys chasing. I think he's gone too early. He has definitely gone too early. As you can see from the aerial shot, they're chasing behind. We've got Ryan Kazanowski here, riding at 10 watts per kg. Josh Harrison, like I said, he is putting down the watts. He is riding 12.1 watts per kg. Ryan Kazanowski, 11.6. This is a huge attack to the finish line. Is Ryan Kazanowski going to be able to hold off Josh Harrison? 11.4 watts per kg. I think he's going to do it. Ryan Kazanowski, wait on, here we go. Oh, we just had, that's going to be, I have to go Zwift Power and see who pulled that off. It was Ryan Kazanowski, also followed up by our rider, let's have a look, the Jones, I think it was. We'll follow the women's race let's have a quick look at this little group coming in. John Newsom putting in a huge effort, but Ben Phillips will take this away, I believe, 10.5 watts per kg. He is going to take this out ahead of John Newsom, with Heath Ecclesley, looks like just heading ahead of John Newsom there, with Cassius East and Travers behind. We just have another, looks like this is broken up here. We might just follow this little group into the finish, which has got Doust, Bobby Kells. They are still going around the volcanoes. We'll follow that group in, and then we'll head over to the women's race, where they've still got about 15 kilometers to go, with Kate Brown leading ahead now with Rebecca Clark and Emma O'Connor, who have actually come together. So as we head, I just want to see who won that men's race. Let's have a look here live. Okay, so it looks like, has that actually shown the finish? I'll just see if that's going to do an update. Because we saw someone just coming through from the back. I wasn't sure who that was, to be honest. Looks like Adam Martin took out the race in 1:04:31. Great job, Adam Martin. That was a huge sprint. He's an under 23 rider, and it looks like he was sprinting there at 13.7 watts per kg, around 972 watts in total. You had Josh Harrison coming second, Ryan Kazanowski third, but taking out the A category today. So great job. That was an epic sprint finish. It looked like there was Ryan Kazanowski leading Josh Harrison, then he put in a little tag. Oh, no, actually, it's just updated now. Sorry, it was not Adam Martin. It was Carl Smith from Innovation. He came through at a whopping 14 watts per kg. He rounded past Ryan Kazanowski and Josh Harrison. So Ryan Kazanowski, second on the line, but first in A category. Josh Harrison, third on the line, but second in A+. And Adam Martin was fourth in the, but third in the A+ category. So that was the rounding out of that top three on the line. Looks like Heath Ecclesey is second in the A category, with John Newsom podium third in the A category. So great job there. As we head, and we just saw, are these guys coming through to their sprint finish, or yeah, there we go. We've got James Doust. He has led out. Looks like Hunt, Martin, Fish behind. They're all sprinting. Big sprint finish here. Looks like Tony Hagan just getting left behind there a little bit. James Doust and Bobby Cowles coming in ahead of Tony O'Hagan, and a great sprint finish there. So the women have still got about 13 kilometers to go. So we'll go back and see if we can see some of these other riders finishing. We've got Rob Dallymore there. And we'll see if we've got any of our B category riders we can follow here today. Looks like a great little category B group here. So let's follow these guys. Hamish Robertson here. Actually a very good cricket player. So I think he played for the Auckland Aces actually. So a very good cricket player who now has turned his hand at a triathlon. They are riding on here with Jags, Roberts. Oh, we've got Gordon McCauley racing today. A. Brownlee, I'm pretty sure that's not Alistair Brownlee. Gordon McCauley, so that's a great rider there that's joined the crew today as we follow this group here of Hamish Robertson. Looks like they might be one of the leading B categories, so I'll just see if they are. Let's have a look. Yep, that's live. So yeah, there's actually two riders up the road. There's Glenn Lilly. He has just up the road, but it looks like he may have actually entered the wrong category. He should be an A rider. We've got Gene Marsh out of Southland, who is just on his own, and then we've got this group of 6 behind. So this will be fighting for those podium positions of the 6 group of riders behind. So big group here that we've managed to catch in that B group. So Hamish Robertson, S. Roberts, I just see Will O'Connor up there up the road, and Dara Walsh from Hagan Sport. So they're the A group coming in to finish with Liam Miller. But we're following here the Bs of Hamish Robertson, Nate here, Willie Watts app. I'm pretty sure that is I think it's one of the riders out of Black Sands, so I'll have to go back and remind myself who that nickname is. But a nice little group here. Jags, S. Roberts as well, who will be coming into the finish in under 2 kilometers to go. So Ernie Brown has said that Kate's just cruising. Oh, that's pretty brutal to say for her competitors as she cruises around at 4.2 watts per kg and has now got about a 2.5 minute lead on Rebecca Clark and Emma O'Connor. So she is just absolutely dominating the pace today. I've just seen she's catching some of the other riders are actually passing her on the other side of the road. So we'll go back to Kate Brown once we follow this last group of men on the road, the Category B riders who are coming in to see who can get on the podium in their little internal battle in this Category B ride today. So brutal riding today. I mean, they've just hit the 1 hour 9 mark. I know Kate's expected to finish at about 1 hour 11. So she's been very competitive, not only in the women's field, but in the men's field, she would have been very competitive as well. So she's still got about 20 minutes to go as we follow these B group riders here as they come towards the line. So they're just rounding this corner. They're going to hit this long downhill drag. And that's basically when they're going to start. Looks like Chippendale has started. Oh, they're the ones who are a little bit ahead. So we're following this group of who is going to get the B podium, round out the podium, because we do have Marsh up the road. Looks like here we've got the non-league rider who's taken out the first effort at the sprint. Hamish Robertson, 8.7. We've got Roberts at 11.1 watts per kg. Jags is around 9.5. As we see here, who is going to round out, who is going to have this podium? We've got Prego, S. Roberts here coming through. Looks like he is going to be the podium one. And then Hamish Robertson came through, it looks like in second place, to get the rounding out the podium in the men's B category racing. And that may be, we've got Gordon McCauley there. Cole Burmester, good to see Cole Burmester out of Tauranga racing today. With Paul Crop actually here from North Harbour Tri Club, a bit behind him. And Pete Kadar here, riding alone, but he's from North Harbour Tri Club as well. They've just had a little baby, so congratulations to Pete Kadar on his new addition to the family. Great to see that he's been able to get out on Zwift, even though he probably had a very sleepless night. So I think they've only got maybe a little 6-week-old now, so very, very new little addition to the family. So congratulations to Pete Kadar and his family. Going through with some more B category riders here. Ross Plumpton here from O'Hagan Sport with Cornwall. Simpson there with Coot. Foot traffic rider just on their own there. Wheeland here, so he's in a nice little group with Grant Buckingham from North Harbour Tri Club. Dan Rowe here, a little bit on their own. And we can see some of our C riders here. So who have we got here? We've got Jones. I've got Ekin Bruce here. He's in the camo kit, just falling off the back here of Christophe Pinnell. And then we've got Black here just chasing Ekin Bruce. So these guys have still got a wee ways to go before they finish the race today. Got Coffee from Tri Wellington, another foot traffic rider. They've got a nice group here. Lyskett, so he's actually the spouse, Tom Lyskett, of Sophie, who is in the female race today. We've got Wayne Ross here from Go to Max, Chris Redpath. As we make our way through the field, just see who we've got out racing today. So great turnout today of those racing today. Team Hardcore, Dyson, another Tri Wellington rider into our C categories. So yeah, a lot of riders out today. So they've still got a wee way to go, about 5K to go. So we'll head over to the women's race and see what's happening here. So it's a long day in the saddle today. Kate Brown is just hitting that 1 hour mark. So she's about 10 minutes away from finishing. You can see Bet Clark is now 5 minutes behind her. So Kate Brown can well and truly cruise into the finish today. As Ernie Brown has said, she is just cruising. So that has really been a dominating performance from her. She went away on the epic climb. She rode with Emma O'Connor, who was on her wheel for a good 2/3 of the climb and then just popped off the back, and she has now been caught by Rebecca Clark. So it will be a interesting finish. She's actually been passed by Rebecca Clark, so she has obviously just burnt a few too many matches on that climb. Bex Clark is about 5 minutes behind Kate Brown, with Emma O'Connor about 5 minutes 20 back. So looks like Rebecca Clark has gone into time trial mode as well, as we see her here crossing the bridge just at the final sort of descent off that epic climb out of the jungle. and Emma O'Connor is now about 20 seconds behind. We have got a couple of D riders there just going on the other way around the jungle. Looks like Leet and Monique Speeding is actually, that's right, she may actually be going the other way. So we've got that another chase on the group. Amy Hollenby here with Heather Neal and Anthea Oliver. Anthea Oliver, that was very good because she was a bit further back on the climb. She's managed to pull up into this group of three of Heather Neal, Anthea Oliver and Amy Hollenby. 30 seconds behind them, we've got Kim Cadzow and Britt Litton who are riding together. And then a bit further back, we have Sarah O'Grady, then with Sierra Gray and Nick Sproul riding together, and Angie Wall further, looks like she's stopped, with Jenny Story further back from there. So Jenny Story looks like she's just coming out of the jungle, so she's managed to break away from Rachel Quinn, Vicky Fleming here, and Charlotte Brown is just on Vicky Fleming's wheel. So big breakup of the women's field today. We can see Tracy Livingston here, Kath Reardon. She has just got Gilbert on her wheel. So Kath Reardon, hope you had a good time on Zwift today. I think you're a bit new to Zwift, so we'll see. Looks like Sarah Ryland, they're just now coming down the sort of bottom part of the jungle loop. We've got JC Crop and Kelly Good here as well with Alexa Westphal. So a big turnout of the women's field. I can see Jeannie Rogers and Michelle Lawton-Hill, so they're doing very well in the D category riding today. So there's a little internal battles going on. It's a long day in the saddle. It might be around an hour and a half for some of those riders, in that D category a bit further back. As we follow Kate Brown here again with her big lead off the front. She has is now heading, she's headed out of the jungle. She's done the big downhill. She'll be heading now towards Volcano Loop. She's still got about 7 kilometers to go before she finishes today's race. So very, very impressive performance from Kate Brown today. So I'll give you some of the results from the men's race, provisional, so I have to do some work on these a bit later. There might be a few little DQs if people have gone up a category, but it looks as though in the B race, first place looks to be Jean Marsh, followed then, there's been a couple of entered too low of a category, so looks like it was Jean Marsh, then Hamish Robertson, and then David Jaggs potentially in that B category. If we look at the C category, again a couple of entered too low a category, but it looks like Stuart Jones took out the C category with Christophe Pinnell in second, and Bob Bobbison, he may not be in the league, so it's either between Bob Bobbison or Tom Lyscott for third place in that group. And then see if any of the D's are finished. Looks like Ennis Young is always doing well on the D's, followed by Johan Henning and then Barry Eccles. So those are provisional results, but that looks like that is what has happened in the men's race today. As we see Kate Brown now just heading on that dirt road, heading out towards a volcano. She's basically just doing a victory lap now because those there is such a big gap to the ones behind them. I don't know what has happened in the women's field here, because it looks as though Beck Clark has maybe dropped, maybe she had a little bit of a Zwift mechanical, because she's dropped to about 4 minutes back now, riding along with behind Britt Litton. So I'm not sure what's happened to Beck Clark there, or Emma O'Connor. Maybe it's just the way Zwift's looking at it at the moment, but we'll see what's happening there, because it looks like there's been a bit of a development in the racing behind. We'll just have a look at what's happening in the live women's results. So Kate Brown averaging 4.2 watts per kg. Then Rebecca Clark is in second. She has been holding around 249 watts in the race today versus Kate Brown's 298 watts. So that's a very high number from Kate Brown. And Emma O'Connor at 212 watts. So Amy Hollenby is sitting in 4th. So that looks like it would be our podium in the A's today. It's Kate Brown, followed by Rebecca Clark, and then Emma O'Connor. And then in the B's, it looks like Anthea Oliver is really doing well there, with Heather Neal riding along with her, and Kim Cadzo just a bit behind with Britt Lytton. So it will be a fight between Kim Cadzo and Britt Lytton for that rounding out of the podium in the B's. If we have a look at what's happening in the C's, Charlotte Brown doing very well for O'Hagan Sport. Then Sarah Ryland just behind her, and Heather Bateman. So great competition in the C category today as well. And then if we look at the D's, looks like Cherise Scott, also from O'Hagan Sport, is leading out Jeannie Rogers and Michelle Lawton-Hill with Dory G there. Maybe Michelle Lawton-Hill is actually, she may have to have gone up to category C, so it could be a bit of a shuffle there in the D category today. Kate Brown coming now into her lap around Volcano, and we can see here Rebecca Clark is ahead of Emma O'Connor. So Rebecca Clark has gained about a minute on Emma O'Connor, so it looks like Emma may have just burned a few too many matches trying to keep up with Kate on that epic climb, and Bex Clark has managed to pull in front and is holding some good average watts there, with Emma O'Connor just about a minute back now. She may actually get caught by Anthea Oliver and Heather Neal there, so she has to just be a bit careful that she doesn't turn off the gas too much, as Kate is just within now the last 3.5 kilometers of finishing this race. So good job, Kate Brown. I mean, huge dominating performance in the race today. That's been very impressive, as she definitely has lowered her watts here a little bit, just riding, but around all that under 300 now, about 275 as she comes into the finish. We see a good look here that Emma O'Connor, I think, might end up getting caught by Leet here, and Heather Neal is about 47 seconds back with a nice little group actually, Anthea Oliver and Amy Hollenby. So those three are riding together. Be a nice little battle between Anthea Oliver and Heather Neal there for the finish. Into the Volcano she goes. Really is just a victory lap now. It's quite a let's have a look if I can pull up some so it looks as though Kate Brown did do the Ironman 70.3 race in 2019. She's in the 40 to 44 category, and can't quite see. Oh, so did not finish. Sorry, so she did the swim, so I can't see a time there. Just seeing if we can get some details on Kate Brown. Looks like she's done the Kinloch triathlon a few times. Let's have a look. She's just got, just sitting around maybe just over 2 kilometers to go now until she finishes. So I might just leave the live coverage going here for this women's race. We'll watch Kate finish, and then I'll flick you back to Bex Clark and then may leave you as I have to get ready for my son's a 3rd birthday party today. So it's been some great racing. That was race number 4, as we see Kate Brown coming here in her victory lap to finish the women's race. Pretty much a solo effort from about halfway up the epic climb, and then the men had an amazing sprint finish actually between a group of 7 of them. And next week we will have the duathlon version, so it's going to be very flat and fast multi-lap racing to mimic what will be happening at our duathlon series, which will be happening around raceways, so Hampton Downs, Pukekohe Raceway, and then also down in the South Island. So keep an eye on what we've got happening in this national series. Awesome events being delivered by our event partners and sponsored by Suzuki, ASICS and 2XU. So great series of events coming up. This is our last virtual series happening for Triathlon New Zealand as we go into some in real life racing in level 1 lockdown. So keep your eyes on what's happening in the virtual space, though. Looks like we may have a look at what's happening, put on some weekly club type events, so keep an eye on it. But we're following, it's just started raining so we can't really see. There we go, Kate Brown coming into the finish line. Great racing, 1 hour 11. She has done extremely well to take out the women's field today, and looks like Rebecca Clark will come in 2nd with Emma O'Connor 3rd in that A category. So congrats to all who raced today. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll catch you next week.